the interior of the Scout. Dude, this will be one of the very first EREVs in our market. Oh, that's awesome. Uploaded image. Alyssa is sold now. We're good. This is amazing. Okay. Hello, good morning, and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Jordan joins me behind the camera. The Scout joins me to my right. Dude, finally, we're getting a Scout on camera.
Finally, two of them. We'll get over there in a second, but truck and SUV.
Yep, Terra and Traveler.
Interesting names.
It's hard to know which one's which.
Right.
The truck is the Terra. The SUV is the Traveler.
But we travel in trucks a lot, and so.
It's fine. Anyway, Jordan, we're going to go on a full tour of everything we know about Scout, both truck and SUV, ahead of production. We're still like 2 years away, so I don't want to get people too excited. There's a long road ahead. There's part sourcing, there's development process that has to happen, there's software architecture that we're going to get into. We're going to learn about everything we know. We're going to meet some of the people involved with the production process, development process of the Scout. But it's still 2 years away, Jordan.
Right. So a lot could change.
A lot can change. So let's go on a full tour of both the Scout SUV and the truck, the Terra and the Traveler. Should be fun. Jordan, I was lucky enough to go to the launch of the Scout brand when they initially unveiled it. And I had a really cool experience getting to meet many of the people involved with Scout. I had dinner with Burkhart, who we're looking for right now. I know he's here somewhere, who's the chief engineer. He also engineered the Volkswagen Touareg, which was like unbelievably tough and off-roady for the Volkswagen brand. They also made like a V10 diesel one, which is sick. So essentially, I went there, got to meet a lot of people, but I didn't get to make a film for you guys because it was super busy, everything was crazy, and I ended up leaving before the unveil actually already happened. So, Jordan, now we get the opportunity to show these things. We're going to go through the specs that they've unveiled and show everyone around. First of all, this thing is sort of like a Rivian in a sense. What's your impression? Yeah,
a lot of people are equating it to Rivian-ish, and a lot of people, this came shortly after the whole Volkswagen-Rivian joint venture situation. So that's what a lot of people were expecting, and that's what I think was somewhat delivered.
And I'm going to talk a little bit about that joint venture because I was just at dinner with Oliver Bloom last night, who's CEO of Volkswagen Group, and I talked to him a lot about Volkswagen, Rivian, software, and module sharing-ish. I think there's more there than we already know, Jordan.
Yeah.
It could be happening, could be exciting to see what's going on. Anyway, let's continue around. So we've got a design that looks chunky, it's tall, looks super cool. You've got your recovery points right up front. Absolutely love the way this thing looks. Sort of a Porsche-esque 4 LED light thing going on here.
I love it. Very different from the Rivian, circle situation.
Come down the side though, Jordan. It is longer than an R1T, isn't it?
I think so. It's huge.
It's actually got a usable bed in comparison. So a lot of people may know I drive a Rivian R1T, which is sort of like positioned in similar category to this vehicle. This should be a little bit less expensive and a little bit bigger. Maybe not as performance oriented, but maybe a bit more rugged and tough, if you want to think about it that way.
Yeah.
Come around, look at the back, Jordan. I think it just looks absolutely cool. So this, again, being the truck version, the pickup truck version, it has a ton of parts content in it, and I'm just going to hit everyone with what matters, first of all. They're not quoting battery pack sizes, but I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to guess. I hate filming concept cars because we don't know, but I'm going to guess. I think it's going to be around 150 kilowatt hours for the battery electric version. They're saying around 350 miles of range. And I think in order to do that reliably with these big chunky tires, I think it needs to be a bigger battery than Cybertruck, than Lightning. Those are in that 120, 130 range. I don't think it's going to get as big as the Silverado. So I'm going to guess around 150 kilowatt hours. We already know it's going to be high voltage.
Yeah, they're quoting 800 volt architecture.
Where is the charging port on this thing? It's front, isn't it? Let's run around and look. Yeah, it's front passenger is where the charging. Oh no, because this is the range extender.
Oh.
I haven't even gotten there yet because that's the harvester. So where's the actual inlet port for charging?
If these concepts have it.
Yeah, they may. You know what it is, Jordan? It's right back here because they use NACS.
Right.
I forgot about that.
A nice slim integration.
We'll see if Burkhardt can open that for us in a minute, because there's like an interesting arrangement here I want to get into. So high voltage, we don't know the exact voltage range. They're saying 800 volt class, which we all know isn't 800 volt always. Maybe it's 600 to 700 volts nominal. Maybe it's 800 to 900 volts nominal. Maybe they'll go Lucid style and go super high voltage. We'll have to see. What else do we know about this thing? 350 kilowatt charging is the target.
The target peak, yeah.
Seems super easy because inside the Volkswagen Group family, they have Taycan that does 320 kilowatt peak charging. And Jordan, it's 105 gross, 97 usable. This is going to be 50% larger, and they're only looking for a little bit more peak out of it. Seems easy.
Yeah.
Like they have the technology to do this. The one thing that I think Scout can really benefit from is being part of Volkswagen Group. They're sort of being treated as their own brand, American heritage, but I'm really excited that they sort of have this, I don't know, their ability to do their own thing.
Right, they can go more hardcore, more rugged than most other Volkswagens. They can do direct sales model, which you don't really see with Volkswagens.
Great point. You do not have to buy this from a dealership, which instantly makes a lot of our viewers and me extremely happy.
Yeah.
I just hate the dealing with dealerships, I don't know. There's pros and cons, of course, but I just did a poll on Twitter and over 75% of our audience says they would make a purchasing decision off of how they purchase their car.
Right.
If they can buy it direct from the manufacturer, that to them is an attractive point. Comment below if you disagree, but I'm a fan of this. It sounds like they might try and leverage the existing Volkswagen Group dealer network for service.
Yeah, which makes sense.
But I don't know how that's actually going to work out. So we'll have to see. Anyway, so this is the pickup truck version. I'm going to show everyone the SUV over here. Let's run around this way. They're filming in there right now, so we're not going to get up on stage, but I just want to give everyone a glance, a look from the outside here, so you can see really nice proportions. Very similar to R1S, right, Jordan?
Yeah, it's a little bit shorter, but it's deceiving because the specs online say it's longer, but that's including the giant spare tire in the back, which sticks out quite a bit.
Interesting. Okay. So what's cool about these is they're body on frame, solid axles, locking diffs, dual motors. I mean, you just tick the off-road capable boxes here.
Yeah, independent front suspension, just way more rugged than like anything else Volkswagen Group has done. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, they've needed inside the group portfolio a rugged SUV. Rivian is now the #1 premium SUV in the entire state of California.
Yeah.
Gas or electric. Like R1S is selling like crazy.
And it outsold Model Y in Colorado at one point. I don't know if it still is, but like everyone wants one.
So I guess the question from my side is, the brand is playing into a lot of its heritage, a lot of its, what has been known about it, because Scout was a brand years ago.
Yep.
The question is how much of the newer audience, maybe the people who are actually interested in buying an electric vehicle, know about Scout, have a connection to Scout. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think less than the brand wants us to believe.
Yeah.
I think there's like a few people out there that like love Scout, and there's certainly like a story there, but it's not like Bronco.
Yeah.
It's not like a Land Rover.
Yeah, a lot of people remember them from the 60s, 70s, whenever they were, but I don't know, a lot of our audience is also too young to remember that.
Yeah, totally. A lot of our audience is definitely too young. So Jordan, not only is it just battery electric with 350 miles that's their target range in whatever cycle. That's the thing. I hate it when automakers rate range because it's in what drive cycle, whatever.
That's why we'll test it eventually.
We'll get it tested. There's also this, which is a Harvester port right there. You see that?
Yep.
So we're all familiar with International Harvester, at least car people are. We've got like helicopters flying over us. Hell yeah. Okay, crazy. This will be one of the very first EREVs in our market.
So electric range extended vehicle.
Yes, electric range extended EV.
Vehicle.
EREV.
Yeah.
Vehicle? Yeah. We should probably know what that stands for. I see it written out, of course, and it seems to make sense. But we've got essentially a combustion engine that's sole purpose is to charge the battery pack.
Yep.
And I think this is a great idea. So the BMW i3 is famous for having this REX, this range extended version in our market. They had a small fuel tank, combustion engine, and it would charge the battery when it would get low. This The thing that's interesting about Scout, we'll get into like where they are in the development process. We're not sure what engine they'll use, how fast it'll charge the battery, how the thermals are going to work, all this stuff. But EREVs are getting very popular in China.
Right.
And I think the technology makes a lot of sense. In full transparency, I actually reserved one of each of these. So if it's loud from the helicopter or whatever, but the mics are good, right?
Yeah, that should be fine.
So I reserved one of each, the Terra and the Traveler and Terra. I always get them mixed up. And I selected both the range extended options, as did most reservation holders.
Yeah.
And I think the nice thing about a range extended EV is you're left with an EV-like driving experience. You can still charge it, you still have electric motors, you have no shifting, you have that instant and strong torque, but then you also have the confidence to have a 2-minute fill-up time, which is extremely important while towing. And also off-roading. They say like you need extended range for off-roading. I off-road a lot with my electric vehicles, never had an issue.
Yeah, I guess if you're like going way out in the middle of nowhere where there's less charging infrastructure, like I get it, but also so few people do that.
You also just like don't burn as much energy as people think off-roading.
Yeah, you're going slow.
Yeah, like range anxiety is not a topic when you're off-road. And especially, you know, at least where we live, off-roading means going up in the mountains. As long as you finish at 0%, you can always make it down.
Exactly.
Because you just recharge on the way down. So anyway, I think the real attractive component about this range extended function is the towing capability.
Yeah.
Because when I tow with an electric truck, which I do all the time, first of all, charging stations, very few of them are pull through. Rivian's doing an okay job, but it's still not many of them. You then have to charge deeper in the battery pack, which adds time, and your cooling systems get pushed harder because you have to output more energy while towing, and then you have to charge fast and deep and all that stuff. And so the truck never gets a chance to get a break.
Right.
And Silverado is really the only battery electric vehicle that's good as a tow vehicle right now because of battery.
So much battery, yeah.
Yeah, it's 217 kilowatt hours usable, we recently found out in that particular one, which is pretty exciting. So this is not going to take the approach. They're not going to stuff 200 plus kilowatt hours worth of batteries in here. It's going to be a very reasonable, you know, still it's a truck. You need 130 plus kilowatt hours in this thing, but then the range extender I think will make it much easier. Is that enough technical talk?
I'm guessing the range extender is going to be on top of that battery, or will it be a smaller battery with a range extender? And then
it's a smaller
range?
battery,
Okay.
is what they're saying. I would want big battery plus range extender.
Yeah, just give us everything.
Let me check all the boxes. Let's walk around. Let me show you guys the back of this. Obviously, they're still filming in there, so we're not going to show you get up on stage. But if you just take a glance back here, you can see you have, you know, just a spare tire carrier on the back. So many optional accessories will be available for this one. So it's just so much available accessories. I think they're going to sell a ton of both of these, Jordan.
I think so too. Like, I think the American market has woken up to the electrified truck. And so, of course, you see Rivian, EREV, Silverado, Cybertruck. I mean, there's so many now, Lightning. And then this, of course, with the R1S being such a huge seller. And a lot of people buy the Model Y wishing it was a little bigger and a little more off-roady. So, and they don't want the 3-row of the Rivian R1S. So this does fit this, like, somewhat niche marketplace.
So sitting in the passenger seat is Scott Keogh, who came from Volkswagen USA, is now the CEO of Scout. And cool dude, car enthusiast. He's probably got that right vibe to run this company, I think.
Yeah, he's got the right hair for it.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, I think the car business is a people business, so it all comes down to who is working at Scout. So many Rivian people are here. So many, there's, you know, with this collaboration, we're starting to see this Volkswagen Rivian thing come a little bit closer together than I think most people probably are aware of. And what I'm kind of confused about, so real talk, Jordan.
Yep.
Maybe not some good things that I just don't fully understand, that maybe our audience will feel the same way. This is a direct competitor to R1S and R1T.
Yep.
The Volkswagen Group people that I had dinner with last night totally disagreed. They said these are cheaper and bigger. They said they're, you know, $20,000 less expensive and not necessarily the next size up, but a little bit more rugged, a little bit bigger inside and everything. I'm not getting that impression from standing around here.
No, it feels just like another Rivian model almost.
Yeah, they feel very similar in terms of size. The question is, there's now a collaboration between the two brands with directly competing products. In my mind, they're not saying this. This is how I feel. Is that
so will
bad?
It work? Yeah.
I don't know. The other question that I have is, how are they going to get this thing to market in 2 years? The only compressed development cycles that we're seeing are coming from China right now. They have a very well developed supplier base, from electrical architectures to battery packs to motors. Volkswagen Group is known for having very long development times, 5-7 years, not unheard of. And that there's sort of a Volkswagen development process. There's literally a formula on how to develop a car within the group. Scout is not following that.
Yeah.
It's going to be the fastest developed product, I think, from the Volkswagen Group line ever, other than their Audi brand. Not the one with the rings, but the written one, which is only available in China, but they're using a partner chassis for that.
Yeah.
So, how are they going to get this thing on the market in 2 years? That's what I want to know.
How? And then if they do, that'll be really good for Volkswagen, because maybe Volkswagen, the other companies, sub-brands, will pay attention and be like, oh, that's how you do it.
What I hope they do is just go to Rivian and say, hey, we'll buy the dual motors. We'll take the modules of whatever and throw it in here. They already did that with electrical architecture. My understanding is there's been some conversations around that. Because as we work with a lot of suppliers, we have sponsors like Eaton and others, Magna, etc. Typically we hear rumblings, and I haven't talked to them about it, of like stuff happening. Haven't heard any like Scout part sourcing rumblings yet.
Right.
So fingers crossed it all happens soon and they can get it done on time. That just wanted to be totally transparent. This is a compressed development cycle, and I hope it doesn't get pushed. They have a clear date. What is it? 27 deliveries?
2027 is the target, yeah.
Hopefully that happens.
Yeah, and will they hit the $60,000 starting price? Eventually 50-ish with the base model, but I don't know. There's so much yet to be seen.
Price.
Yeah.
Base is what?
If eventual base goal is 50K, but they're saying these, like what we're seeing now, will start at 60.
60.
Which is reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Almost
Rivian
unbelievable.
starts at 70.
Yeah.
I like it. So we're going to let them all finish up. We're going to go inside. We're going to take a look. We're going to talk to the UX designer. We're going to meet, hopefully, Burkhardt and talk about engineering and understand that development cycle a little bit more. And then, I don't know, we'll just see who's around and start getting them on camera. Should be fun. I mean, we're filming at a public event, so it's always hard to get everything in. But, dude, it's my first time seeing these in person, and I think they look incredible. Even better in person than in the photos.
Agreed.
I really wish I stayed around at the unveil, but I just had to get back and film some other videos for you guys. And so now this is my opportunity to check them out. But as someone who has spent a lot of time with the entire competitive set for these vehicles, almost think I would choose this. And as an EV guy, Jordan, you're an EV guy as well.
Yeah.
I think the range extended throws me over the edge.
Yeah.
I hate to admit it because I like a battery electric vehicle. I don't want the complications and the maintenance. But when I think about how I use my vehicles and with the infrastructure today and the charging performance in the competitive set today, range extended all the way, baby.
That's such a unique piece to this, so we'll see if it happens.
Yeah, I'm a big EREV fan. So, all right, let's see who we can get on camera. Let's get inside of them. Jordan, the interior of the Scout. Dude.
This is sweet.
This is so Rivian-esque, and I mean that in the best, most complimentary way. I think the one thing Rivian totally got right in this market is people want rugged, but they also want this premium but not pretentious luxury, this nice new material type thing. Like whatever Rivian uses on the seats is the best material for seats in the entire automotive business. Whatever I'm seeing here, very similar.
Even better, maybe.
Dude, okay, so in photos I was kind of nervous because I'm like, it kind of doesn't look as good, but in person, maybe it's just because it's new, but dude, like, this seems even more thought out than some Rivian stuff. First of all, I love the compass up here. That's mechanical,
awesome.
What's the correct term? Like a physical compass, not just like a digital one.
Spinning in glass compass.
Which is just absolutely so amazing. I love the little auxiliary switches you have up here. So none of them work at the moment. This is prototype, but you've got front diff lock, rear diff lock, sway bar disconnect, which this does support, and traction control off right there. You've got your lighting controls, bed light, SOS. You're gonna have, I assume, electrochromatic roof in this thing, because it doesn't look like there would be a shade, but again, it's still early production, a lot can change.
Yeah.
We have, a really nice rear view mirror, which looks like it might even contain some, don't know what this is off of. Really love this, sort of grab handle up here, which is really nice. Dude, it's a mount for like whatever you want to put on there, and they're going to sell accessories to put there too.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's so neat.
Like we've seen in the Bronco.
Steering wheel's interesting. I think this might be the worst part of it.
Really? I love it.
You love the wheel. Why?
Just love how it looks. I actually don't know if I would love those wheel spinny things.
Well, I'm going to jump inside and sit in a second, but can you hand me the camera? I'm going to show you over here to the viewers. We're using this fancy camera rig, Jordan. I've never tried this before. But we've got auxiliary 1, 2, 3, and 4. washer adjustments, physical steering wheel column controls. A lot of people like that. Some people like everything to be done with software. I'm kind of actually one of those people.
Yeah.
I'm not a button guy, but a lot of people are button people. I think this is a nice blend of new and old school. We have front trunk and rear tailgate opening, as well as your lighting selections. Pedal box looks pretty cool, Jordan. Those pedals look neat. It's just like everything has extreme attention to detail. You have your seat controls down here that look really nice. Very, very thought out, very nice interior.
And one of the biggest things, Kyle, is 3 seats up front.
So you have your optional bench seat. I'd be really curious to see what the console version looks like.
Yeah.
Bench seat got a lot of people excited.
Yep.
I mean, I can just think I'd put Ellie, my dog, right here and we can go cruising.
Like in the olden days.
Except Ellie hates it when I drive because she doesn't like to go fast. So, so anyway, I'm going to jump inside. I'm going to make sure I have nothing in my pockets. I'm going to go up and over the side bolster here. So let's go foot in. I just want to get a sense of the height. So like the H point, the hip point, this is a little bit far in. It's quite a step up. And I think this one's on coil suspension. I think it will be air.
Yeah, air is in the product materials that they quoted. So
Maybe optional.
might be optional. We'll see.
This one's not on air, but this is just a prototype.
Right.
So let's go up and over. And the seats are not finalized, but just the view out the front, Jordan, let me show everyone the eye line view, because I think that's so important. What the viewers are seeing is exactly what my eyes see, the exact view. So you sit up pretty dang high. You probably want to raise the wheel a bit so that it's not blocking the P. Actually, I can see the park just fine. So this is really like my view. Really nice view out the front. Big display right here, very wide.
Yeah.
I really think they should have cut the dash a little bit here and brought the screen up. But maybe that would have given it too much of a tech vibe and not enough of like this rugged truck first experience. Through the buttons here, let's just run through everything. You've got, I think that might be seat adjustment. No idea what that could be, but heated and cooled seats, air conditioning, fan speed, your back button, I think. You have heated rear window, front defrost, and then the similar seat controls over here with temperature adjustments. Again, none of these are functioning right now. The UI UX is, and we're gonna go through that with their team. Steering wheel comes out at a really nice angle. It just feels a bit too short. I don't know why we have to reinvent the wheel, personally. I don't know how the seat's set, and series production still has some time to go, but if I could offer any feedback, I want the seat to go lower, as I always do.
Yep.
And I want the wheel to come up and out a little bit more.
Yep.
So I just feel like it's a really cool seating position, very similar to Rivian. And yeah, I mean, there's so much to soak in here, but the overall vibe, this material of the headliner looks so cool, dude. It's totally awesome.
The hempwood, I think this is on the dash.
Yes.
That's so
probably
cool.
optional. You can choose a bunch of different colors, interior and exterior. The one thing Scout is not missing $1 on spending is branding.
Yeah.
They've branded everything. Everything is thought out. Everything is to give you this experience while you're driving. And I think that's unusual for a startup, actually, because most startups are like, product, let's just get this thing to market and then we'll develop who we are as an identity. Scout is coming in with a very clear picture of who they are as a company and then designing a vehicle around that.
And they're an interesting startup because International Scout is kind of their legacy from 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So they have somewhat of a legacy. They're like it's like a re-startup.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the vibe in here is awesome. So, okay, we're going to get into UI, UX in a little bit. Love that there's also another little switch or adjustment over there. You have your gear selector, steering wheel again. I think it's cool. It's not series production. You have eye tracking in front of me here. And yeah, still so much more to come before we get to 27. But the initial impression is great. What I'd like to do is take a look in the back seat, Jordan, and see roughly how much room there is. The glass roof's cool. This is not series production glass or anything, I don't think. So still a long ways to go. The back seat of this thing. So this is gonna, in a series production one, be a folding center console for the 3.0. It doesn't work in the prototype. My understanding was we just spoke to some of the guys here, and like the seating elements to get these in the truck was like hilariously last minute before the reveal. But it's just prototype stuff. That's what you live with. Molly panels back here may or may not make it to production. We'll see. I'm curious how that's going to pass crash. But overall, super cool. Everything feels a bit short to me though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we need to bring the backrest up, bring this up just a little bit, and really get it overall like this sort of taller vibe. Door panels, by the way, Jordan, love the design. If you can show everyone over here on your panel, you have this cool strap from the bottom going up. Really nice materials. Again, every single surface of this vehicle is thoughtfully designed. It just seems like a really, really nice job, top to bottom, from every A surface, B surface. The entire color scheme is really cool. Overall, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, the colors and everything, it just feels so Rivian to me, which is such a compliment. You're right.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's a bad thing to say it feels like a Rivian. I'm going to jump in the back seat and see how much room there is. In I go.
Plenty, I'm guessing.
Way more than a Rivian. So, I have a Rivian R1T, as a lot of people have already mentioned in this video. I don't really fit that well in the back seat.
Yeah.
I certainly can't really fit behind myself. It's a very compressed second row. Now, the R1S is elongated, and that will be similar to the Traveler version. But overall, dude, like, I've got room. It's not full-size truck big. You know, you get into an F-150, it's like you're in an S-Class back there now. They're huge. But I actually prefer a little bit of this, you know, sort of compactness. But this thing feels wide.
Yeah.
Super wide. And I just am impressed with the overall space. When they build in the series production one, they have to put in crash. This has to support the weight of it. Is the interior going to shrink a little bit? I'm not 100% sure. But let me grab the camera, Jordan. I want to show everyone the view from back here with this glass roof. So this is what it looks like sitting in the back seat. Super cool, very airy vibe. I think it is nice that these are low. I wonder if they can get that through production, because then you get this unbelievable, almost stadium seating vibe where you can see right out the front and go through. Back here, again, I think you have your air vent controls, heated seats, and then two, air vents on that side.
I wonder if they'll put a rear screen like we see with a lot of other cars, because I mean, otherwise the passengers don't always know what the settings are when they turn those on. But
yeah, I think we're going to see...
rear screens are in, basically.
With any concept car to production, there's going to be more things that come and things that get cut.
Yeah.
The question is, how are they going to be able to get this in at the price point that they need to get this in, and in the time frame they need to get this in?
Right.
Like, what is going to be missing?
Yeah.
And from my perspective, it just seems like such a heavy parts contented vehicle. Extended range, big batteries, lockers, 240 volt, probably NEMA 1450 out the side. You've got, crazy fast charging is the plan, with a great curve and good thermal management. I guess, is the price going to go up, or is the content going to get reduced? Because I'm not sure you can do all this. It just seems too good to be true.
At least not at 60, but yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure if you max out range extender, whatever, it's going to be north
yeah.
of 80, I would guess. I would say look at R1S pricing, and I'm sure it's going to be just a little bit under that. Would be a guess. I have no idea, but that's my impression. So what do you say, Jordan? We meet some people from Scout. I want to take a look at the SUV as well. So we should move over to that vehicle.
Which is the Traveler?
That's the Traveler. So we'll go over there, and we've got plenty to talk about, I'm sure, continuing. Guys, I'm with Nicole with Scout. You are sort of responsible for software. What do you actually do?
Yeah, I'm one of two UX managers at Scout, working to build out our user experience.
So software user experience is something that I would say, as a car reviewer, I'm pretty honestly not well versed in. I can, go sideways, go off-roading, mechanical stuff, electric motors, batteries, charging. But our audience massively cares about software user experience, making sure things are, really well thought out. And clearly we've seen this spread of the new entrants, Rivian, Tesla, even some Chinese brands absolutely go and make some incredible experiences. And then you drive, existing vehicles from legacy automakers that give you the worst possible interaction points.
Yeah. I think every vehicle and every manufacturer has their pros and cons. I think one of the benefits of having a software-defined vehicle that some of ourselves and our competitors also have, and we'll be leveraging a zonal architecture platform, really enables us to build out features that are unique to our specific customers' wants and needs, and also iterate and add new things as we learn, what those needs are a little bit deeper as we get to know our customers over time.
So before we dive into this, just philosophically, I'd like to understand how you're kind of positioning the software, the experience in this vehicle? First of all, the electrical architecture is being supplied by the Rivian VW joint venture.
That's correct.
Which is a fantastic, probably, I've had the chance to talk to the Rivian team about this at length. Extremely powerful processing. Zonal architecture means rather than having 30, 40, 50 different ECUs to control everything. I mean, back in the early 2000s, like in the, Bangle Butt 7 Series era, it's like, how many ECUs does your car have? Oh, more, that's amazing. Now it's, let's get this all down into controllers that control not just specific functions, but in areas of the vehicle.
That's right.
And that just reduces wiring, makes things modular. You can move the same components from one vehicle to the next.
No.
And it's not just going to be in Scout. The rest of the Volkswagen Group is going to leverage this architecture as well.
That's also true, yes.
So talk to me through like just some basic fundamentals of car ownership. Phone is a key, over-the-air updates, EV route planning. Are these things that you're even considering this early on?
Absolutely. I mean, we're thinking about the entire experience holistically. I mean, there's details, if I were to take a step back, that we've really, the design team has thought through everything from really trying to be very intentional about how we have these physical buttons and how they interact with the digital interface in this modern, we're at an inflection point where we have, we've gone to fully digital cockpits, and we've learned over time, customers are still hungry for a little bit of tactility.
Yeah.
And so trying to be really intentional about how we integrate that tactility and these physical buttons into the experience, because they do interact with the digital aspect of it. So it's not just old school pure physical buttons or full digital screen. So we're really trying to merge those worlds together. Which
is interesting, because we've seen some brands, especially legacy brands, try and go touchscreen for everything. They do it so poorly that everyone's like, I hate touchscreens, I want buttons.
Yeah.
Then what they do is they'll like sub-module out something, like just HVAC controls, where now just this is HVAC and it has nothing to do with the actual, actual screen. This is integrated, which is kind of one of the first we've seen like this.
Yeah. Not to be a politician about it, but in all fairness, it's a really tricky thing to toe that line between trying to integrate physical things with digital and get it right. And you really, we have a unique opportunity to start from a clean slate where we can think about everything holistically, soup to nuts, so to speak. But if you're coming in and you're thinking about just the touchscreen or how do you add physical in with that, there's so much aspects of legacy that makes it tricky to do that. So we have a unique opportunity to do this holistically, and we're really proud of where we're headed.
So you've got a driver instrument cluster and then sort of a main control panel that's super wide and quite narrow.
Yep.
How did this form factor come to be? So, visually what I would say is and I said this when I looked at the truck, I thought it would be cool to extend the screen past the dash and have a cutout. But would that make it not rugged enough? Does that not fit the design? I know you're not designed, but what was the intention to have, sort of this wide screen that's quite narrow this way?
I think we wanted to be able to have this experience that extends beyond just the driver and also gives the passenger a bit more control and to collaborate, on your daily road trips.
Super close here.
You have more control than if the screen was a lot smaller. And I think this gives a nice opportunity to actually prevent glare, which is something, obviously, on road trips that we know that becomes a thing with digital screens.
Don't put any crystal balls down here like BMW, because then you get totally blinded.
Well,
not that you can comment on BMW, but yeah. But it's just, glare is actually super important to reduce in vehicles.
It is.
So let's go through this thing. So the software is running on top of the electrical architecture for Rivian,
Correct.
But is the software Rivian or is the software you guys?
No, the software is Scout.
Okay, interesting. So you have to go through the design process, the functional requirements,
the whole thing,
and to fit that onto the physical hardware that Rivian is providing.
Yeah. And also learning about who our customers are as we go, because we're still pretty early on. I think we're starting to get a pretty good idea who our customers will be, but being able to iterate on our designs prior to our launch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So show us what this thing can do. You got maps as sort of your base screen, right?
Yeah. So to give a little bit of our experience philosophy, there's a few keywords that have been shared, which is being a helpful companion. And what that really means is we know you have off-roading and adventuring and all that fun stuff to do, and we can facilitate that, but we also want to make sure we're providing you what you need in your just everyday life. And as a basis for that, we have the map in the background as persistent, you'll notice. And what I mean by helpful companion in this case is we wanted to provide the ability to multitask, which is something that I think a lot of people unconsciously want. And not having to jump around to multiple apps to find different things. And so what that means here, to give an example, is if we're driving together and let's say I've been listening to country music for the last, 2 hours. And
as a Scout owner would be expected to do.
As we would.
Yeah.
I love country music.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
But you're tired of listening to that.
Yeah.
And so, I can actually pass this over to you with our community UX. So
nice.
Creating a little bit of collaboration and being able to say also, hey, Kyle, I want you to find us a burger spot. So if you slide out there on that little bar there, you can actually become the navigator for me.
So I can go here.
You can find us burgers. In and
so
out.
will it work now? Is it ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Type in in and out.
All right, here we go. Search. Oh, no internet connection.
Shoot. Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Cancel that out.
Yeah, but that's all right. The intention is, I got it. No, that's really cool.
So
but I'm really impressed with even the response. So what's crazy is this is a couple years away from production. It's still pretty early, and this is a better refresh rate, response time than most series production cars in our market. Not China, but in the Western world.
Yep.
That's crazy.
We're really working on trying to make sure that this is again, getting the fundamentals right and making it as seamless as possible.
It's an interesting thing, though, because the Scout world you would expect to be rugged, tactile, off-roady, not the kind of people that want software in their car. But I think Rivian did a really good job blending that gap of utility, but then also attracting this tech crowd as well. And this kind of feels like it's going to have a similar vibe. I think that is a really tough thing to merge.
We're really also trying to appeal to folks that maybe don't want to go full tech, and which is why we're trying to provide this physicality of physical buttons up here in the overhead, the tactile buttons here, also some auxiliary switches here. So trying to blend those two worlds together, which is again a fine line to walk. Because we do have this powerful software platform that we're working with, and we want to be able to maximize it, but not go too far.
So, updates and stuff, obviously it's going to support over-the-air update to every module, because Rivian already supports that now.
That's correct. Yep. Correct.
Is there already, obviously you have to get this thing ready for series production, it has to pass homologation, it's got to get all ready to rock and roll, but is there already talk about maybe the cadence of software updates, how often you're going to introduce new features? Because in the past, Volkswagen Group in general, and I know Scout's its own brand, has, in my impression, done a really poor job of updating vehicles regularly. And so I think this could be the first opportunity in the group to really show customers that, hey, when you buy your car, this is not our last touch point. We still care about it once it leaves the showroom.
Absolutely. I think that's one of our biggest benefits of this new platform. And I think funny that you said that, I think there's an interesting, and I keep using the word balance as something in the ether right now, but the reason for my pointing that out is with over-the-air updates, no, to answer your question first, we don't have an aligned upon cadence yet, but what we do want to make sure we don't do is wait too long in between, or doing too many continuous updates that are, constantly changing things on our customers. We want to get to know our customers, what they want, what they don't want, and not just continuously updating. So it's really important to us that we find that strike that balance between new and exciting features that are useful to our customers, useful being the opposite word there, and not, again, waiting too long so that we're, 6 months before you hear from us again, for instance.
So the three most important features from my side, because the audience is already screaming it right now, I think, is EV route planning. That's number one. Making sure you can put in your destination. It will route you to the best charging stations. You'll have plug-in charge capability with NACS. This is going to ship native with NACS.
Right.
Is that already a conversation of including, like a really well thought out route planner in here?
That is a part of the conversation as well, and I think we also, with our range extender, have to consider how we handle fuel options as well, because that would be something unique, obviously, to our brand, having both EV and fuel stops. So it's something that we're in consideration, but there's nothing final.
The second is dog mode. Or like some sort of pet mode where, I'm always traveling with my dogs. I want it to stay cool in the summertime. Are you guys going to support that?
Of course, we care about our pets as well here at Scout, and so we do currently have a pet mode. I can pop over here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And
Oh,
so
look at the dog.
one
Cool.
thing here that,
You
again,
can upload an image.
yeah, so we wanted to try to make it a bit personal here because our pets are personal to us, and so you can actually upload an image of your pet here, which is something that, of course, you can also leave the image that's here. This is a very cute Malinois, I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
could be. Yeah, Shepherd Malinois, something. Yeah, could be a Malinois.
But you can personalize it to yourself and actually, have your pet here.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so Alyssa is sold now. We're good.
Awesome.
So what else is you got? Camping mode.
Yeah, we call this outdoor mode because we know that camping isn't the only context where you might use this. So outdoor could mean hiking, it could mean fishing, what have you. But it's your one-stop shop for anything outdoor related.
This is amazing. Okay, I'm loving this. How can you guys are just. You're getting all the stuff that people want that most
doing our very
automakers
best.
don't even have half of this stuff.
So we also have here, I won't go fully from left to right, but our range extender is actually also included here because if you're out camping, you want to make sure that you can keep going, right, on your adventures. And we actually here on the driver display, this is one of my favorite things, we're actually doing it by days and hours and minutes. How much time do you have left?
Yeah, love that.
Dre, actually, our UX director, always says, do you have more time to put one more steak on the grill?
Yeah, okay, I like it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've got big batteries in these things. They'll be able to go for days outside, out in the even at full load. So.
Exactly. But this is one of the things we really want to, not make it too technical, right? Simplicity is key.
Love that. Let's see what else. I mean, this is all fascinating for our viewers right here. So
Awesome.
We've got like a sleeping mode. What's that?
We do have sleeping mode here. This is actually really just to be able to turn things off while you're actually in the vehicle. If you're car camping. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
neat.
One of the things I think I'll take a second to show you here is our connectivity. And so in our apps, we have several different apps that will be there, but connectivity is one that we're really excited about. We'll have an optional satellite antenna.
No freaking way.
yeah.
Is it Starlink or something different, or do we not know yet?
Well, we don't know yet.
Okay.
But the main benefit that, from my personal perspective, is you can be, whether it's offline maps or whether you want to watch a movie or you need to be reachable for your family, even if you're off grid.
Yeah, love this feature, and you've got the snow melt function there, which is
Yeah,
great.
it's going to be important.
Yeah, totally.
And you're in Colorado, so that's definitely important.
Yeah, I live my life off Starlink pretty much, so I've got the snow melt on those, and so I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we don't have the partner yet.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's, I mean, I hope, I don't know, it could be anyone, but we'll see. Can we go back to that drive mode menu really quick? Because this will be kind of interesting to see. So you've got a dynamics portion that you can go into. So you've got one pedal adjustability, creeping, stability looks like 3 levels of control is the intention, and all of this still has to go through engineering and everything.
Yeah, there
and
may be more, there may be less by the time we hit production, and there are more than just the one mode that's being represented here, but I won't mention what those are yet because those aren't final.
Sure.
But the point here is, again, to be able to give you the ability to modify things. And I know when I'm personally off-roading, being able to change things as I'm going, to change the feel. If I'm on a super bumpy road, I need, more comfort, what have you, tighter steering.
Does the charging menu work, the battery zap icon?
Yeah, so what we actually have here, can't show it here at the moment, so skip that. But we can turn on and off our range extender from here.
Sure. Okay.
Of course, set your charge limit, as most vehicles do have as well.
Yep.
And our range extender, currently we have 3 settings. We have Auto, EV, and Max. And so the point behind those with Auto is the ability to have the range extender kind of, I'm going to call it a George Foreman grill. It set it and forget it.
Yeah.
So it just charges up when it sees it hits a certain threshold of SOC. EV only is obvious. And then Max might be, for example, if you were towing something, you just need that thing to stay all
just
the time
stay full revs on the engine.
Right, if you're on a bike, doing, that kind of
Hell
thing.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Can't wait for TFL to run this thing.
Right, that's what I thought of those guys.
with the range extender, it's going to be awesome.
Exactly.
So cool. Yeah. What else can this thing do? I know it's super early, but can we see climate menus? Does any of that kind of work at the moment?
Well, actually, that's funny that you mentioned that. So we don't have a full climate screen. What we've done actually is done instead a climate bar. And so as you see, we have things come up contextually, so we're not currently having everything come up all at once. So it's just about, and remember, we have this unique relationship between physical and digital. So rather than have redundancy and have an entire climate screen, it's about what's here, you connect here, and then if you do, for events, for instance, you need 3 options to be able to make that change. And this could change also as well.
Sure.
But being able to have that connection between physical and digital, the point is actually to reduce cognitive load, and I can, what we call blind operate, right? I don't need to look at the screen to see what I'm doing.
Just reach down a couple degrees colder.
Reach down.
Yeah.
I'm cold or I'm hot, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm okay.
Yeah, so you're just going whichever direction.
Exactly.
Love it. So if you were to leave our audience with the impression of what the status is in the development of the software for you guys getting close to series production, what would you want them to know? How close are we? How much work is there ahead? Obviously, it seems like from a design perspective, you guys did a lot of work already.
Yeah.
What's the current status, and how is it going to make it in time for production?
Yeah, I mean, we're passionate perfectionists, I would put it that way, and we're working diligently every day to make sure that this is not the exact final, but to work through our UX to catch things, to make sure that it's as solid as it possibly can be. And the benefit of over-the-air updates is even if we get it wrong, we are human. We can always make an update, get feedback from the audience and from our customers rather, and understand what it is that they're really wanting or maybe are missing, for instance. So we're a ways away from being ready to rock and roll for prime time, for launch, start of production. But we're working hard for the next little while to make sure that we get what people need at least right out of the gate and try to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, from my impression, the concept here is just so far ahead of almost any other vehicle other than the couple that I've mentioned in our market. And it's just like so clear that this is the way forward.
Yeah.
And I hope other automakers are watching this and taking note, because this is the way to do it.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, congratulations.
One other thing I think I'd want to say, based on a riff on your question, is if there's any features or comments that folks have now is the time to provide it to us, so we can make sure that we've provided it, or at least tried to, or will provided as time goes on. So your feedback even early on is always appreciated.
So what you're saying is comment on the video and we'll forward those comments along.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for the tour. This has been incredibly insightful.
Thank you for your time.
And really, best of luck to you guys. I think you're setting a cool example to the industry to just be like, okay, software, super important part of the entire vehicle ownership experience.
It's what you live with every day, right?
I wish other automakers would feel the same way. So, nice work. This is cool.
Thank you.
Guys, I'm with Jamie. Jamie, you're like one of the very first Scout employees.
Yeah, I came on, it's been about 2 years now. I came on as employee roughly number 9, and originally tasked with starting to build out the Scout community for Scout. I've been in automotive for 20 years, so...
I like the enthusiast side of automotive, too.
Yeah, Scott, our CEO, really wanted to make it a priority to, connect with the community, and I don't think many automotive brands have their own discussion forums, and I make that attempt to really do that. And, Scout kind of has an opportunity to connect with people on a real level, where it's a little bit more than just buying the vehicle or another vehicle purchase, right? And I think for us, being about the people is kind of a unique space for us, right? Every other brand is all about conquering the mountains and conquering the land and conquering all the the job site and all these things. But I think for Scout, it's an interesting niche for us. The vehicle will be perfectly capable, as you've seen, of going anywhere, but at the same time, we really want to try to bring that connection into not only our customers, when they purchase a vehicle, but in the UX and the interface that you had a chance to preview, and we're going to connect that with the community. Everything from badges we award people for going and doing things, and they can be as simple as conquering Big Bear Pass or something, or they could be something more meaningful like trail cleanups and that type of thing. And it helps drive this community together, as part of what we're trying to create with the vehicles.
I think it's super telling that as one of the very first employees of this very important startup within a very large organization, sort of tangentially related, that the community guy was involved from day one, basically. I mean, it's just so unusual to see, let's think about our customers ahead of the product, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, Scott, I mentioned Scott already, but I mean, he really drove that philosophy in from day one. I mean, if you think about it, our very name, Scout, scouting ahead, scouting forward, scouts always come back. It's
best
kind of
tagline ever, by the way.
Yeah, well, thanks. I can't take credit for that, but it really kind of embodies what we're trying to do with the company, and not just in a kind of BS marketing way. Like, I think, you have to remember, with 9 employees, and at the end of year 1, I think we had 13 or 14, and then a year later we were at almost 300 people.
Wow.
And now we're at 750 people.
Dang.
So to stand up an entire car company is a monumental task, and build a brand new factory, right? So I think, yes, I was brought in to do community, but I'm also running the blog for the company, and I'm also involved in socials. So, on the marketing side, we're all wearing a lot of hats, as you would imagine, like a lot of kind of startup companies as we grow. But yeah, it's been honestly a lot of fun.
Well, I think your role is hugely important to the perception of the brand and developing this new community. Yes, there's some Scout love out there already. It has a great heritage.
Yeah.
But that's not hundreds of thousands of people. No. It's a very small group of niche enthusiasts. You have to take that core love and expand it to this new audience.
Yeah. I mean, the original vehicles were built from 61 to 1980, and they only built about 530,000, depending on who you talk to.
Sure. And how many of those are left on the road today?
Yeah, not a lot. I do all the community outreach as well personally. So I go to the the legacy Scout shows, nationals out in Ohio. We have a great relationship with Jim Allen and John Glancy that wrote the Scout Encyclopedia. In fact, Jim's writing articles for us now.
Cool.
Yeah, because we feel like that history is something we want to capture. You're lucky to have a brand that has history and heritage, right? And it's been gone from the market for 45 years, and we have this kind of opportunity to bring it back, but we want to capture that spirit. And I think you see it in the vehicles, the simple lines, some of the little Easter egg cues you see on them, and that type of thing. And it's been fantastic. Yeah.
So our audience are enthusiasts in general. They're sitting here watching an hour-long video on an electric pickup truck that's coming out in 2 years.
Right.
They're into this, as am I. I have a reservation for both versions.
Congrats.
How do we get involved with the community? What's the best avenue to, sort of help build this excitement around the brand?
If you have a reservation, you're already going to be on our email list receiving updates and what we're doing in the company, what we're doing in the development. Like, we're going to share that with everybody. We want to take everybody along for that journey of the development of the vehicle, because it's going to be 2 years as we build the factory. But I mean, we're already doing factory updates. We're going to be shadowing people as we build the factory and showing some of kind of how the sausage is made, in a way, right? And I think that's a unique opportunity in our team. In a lot of companies, you're not able to do that because everything's a secret, and we have to keep everything behind the curtain. Totally. And Scott really is driving hard to have us connect with the community. So if you're already a reservation holder, you're going to get updates from us. You can always go to the website, and there's a call to action at the bottom of the page to get notifications from us. And then, of course, you can always go to our community forums. I'm active in there every single day.
Great.
I answer the questions. We have team members that are in there. We're actually running color polls. We're running accessory polls.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're our teams. I go to our Novi office where our engineering and product and design teams are, and literally walk past monitors where people are reading the forums, over their morning coffee. So it's
that's amazing.
It's been neat to see.
Love that, because now's the time to share what you want, what you're really looking for, because there's still a little bit of time to make some changes here.
Yeah, for sure.
Congratulations on everything you've done building this community so far.
Big fan of your channel. Honestly,
Thank you. Appreciate
we watch it all the time, and the guys love it. So
Thank you. Well, there's going to be a million videos on these things coming, of course.
Sounds good, and we'll do everything we can to support it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there you go, guys. That's a wrap on Scout at CES 2025. I think my impressions of, first of all, the company, the process, the thing. I'm always worried about getting you guys super excited about a product that's years away. We've been burned so many times in the past. However, I think with the backing of Volkswagen Group, with the feeling that like this is going to happen, they're building the factory, everything is like full speed, full send to production. They have no money issues to get there. It's different than just a standalone startup. This feels real. And I'm not saying 100% it's going to come and it's going to be at the specs that they say, at the price that they say, but I feel pretty confident about this, which is why I'm making this video for you. Scout also was kind enough to mention that we might be able to join on some development drives and some of the processes between now and series production to update you guys on how things are going. Go on some of those cold weather testing or hot weather testing excursions, which that's just a dream of mine to do, and hopefully you guys would enjoy that as well. Huge shout out to Nicole, by the way, for taking software and UX so seriously. It's one thing to look at this as an off-roady working vehicle that's rough and tough, but the fact that they're taking the user experience and the software up to the highest level of the auto industry in terms of experience and snappiness and graphics shows that they really do get what customers are looking for in electric cars in 2025. And finally, the range extended option is awesome. I don't think we know what engine they're going to use, how that's all going to work. My guess would be a 4-cylinder turbo for an application like this, because if you're towing, it still has to, propel the vehicle up in the mountains of Colorado, even if you have a dead battery. So I'm guessing just a 4-cylinder turbo that's going to sit flat out. And with all of that said, I think it's exciting. Let's remain cautiously optimistic. Let's cover the brand, tell the story with them from start to finish. And my personal opinion on everything is I'm in love. It's, build a car for Kyle Connor. And it's basically that truck right there. Love the size of the bed, love the range extender, love the fast charging, love the native NACS, love the power exportability, love the design, love the interior materials, love the software. It's just no notes from my side. It's what I want. And after talking to Gerbhardt, I had dinner with him, the chief engineer, a few months ago. I'm like, it needs to go sideways. It needs to be rough and tough where you can jump it. You got to be able to just like beat the crap out of it, have fun with it, give me drive modes. He's like, don't worry. We know exactly what we need to hit. I'm like, it needs to go high speed and fast charging and no thermal derating. He's like, Kyle, don't worry. We know what we need to hit. I'm like, okay. All seems pretty damn good from my side. Of course, when we get one, we're going to run it through all the tests, but we're years away from all of that from now. So I think the takeaway here is it's a brand to be excited about. It's a brand to follow closely, and all we can say is we wish them the best of luck from our team at Out of Spec to Scout. Just shaking with excitement around these things. They're so cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Shout out to these guys for shutting the music off so we could film at their CES booth today, and we'll see you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.